Welcome back to the Beyond the Sidelines podcast, your favourite Brisbane-based podcast by three average failed athletes. This week we talk about the Brisbane Broncos naming Brodie Croft and Patrick Carrigan as captains. It's a bit odd with 58 games of NRL experience behind them. The Bulls were forced to change jerseys at halftime. It's a bit odd. Joanna Zershek, we had a go at actually pronouncing her name, and she also had a hematoma on her head, which was a little bit grim after the fight. We could see the next nobody, and if you want to hear what we mean by that, make sure you stick around for the Fast Five. And the AFL could be played in empty stadiums. Speaking of that, we had Linc McCarthy on the show this week, the Brisbane Lions small forward. But to hear everything about that and our predictions for the upcoming AFL season, you're just going to have to listen up.
There's scenes here at Perry Park.
Chris Lynn has taken the wild thing and sent him.
And welcome to the Ben and Campbell chat with coronavirus Gusman over there. There's something there. There's a nickname there. Anyway, go.
Why do you go with the tropical punch?
The what?
The tropical punch.
I think it's the best one there.
Really?
I mean, I'm a big Golden Circle fan.
Have you had L&P?
I don't like the
L&P is great.
L&P is very good.
No, I don't try that foreigner drink.
Yeah, that's right up your alley, isn't it?
Over the ditch.
I support
local business.
Queensland Golden Circle. On that note, if you don't know what we're talking about, Gussy always gets his drinks from the vending machine downstairs. And welcome back to the Beyond the Sideline podcast. With me, as always, is Finn Morton and Angus Bryan. How are we, fellas?
G'day, Siege. Mate, I'm good, mate. How are you, Gusman? You're feeling a bit sick, mate.
I am
under the weather.
I'm keeping my distance from you.
I'm a bit worried. I may have coronavirus.
Don't say that.
There's always a possibility.
Don't say that.
Although to be fair, I had the flu a few months ago and I felt worse. So
that
I'm not
change
that
anything.
worried.
See, now I'm not feeling great because we're in a small confined room. Now this studio, what it's about, I'm going to say 4x3.
Yeah, I'd go with that. Something along those
quite
lines.
Small. So if he is sick, we're getting it, mate.
Oh yeah,
we are. I'm not using your mic. I'm saying well clear. Well, I have to be on the same side of the desk as him, mate.
Why would you use his mic anyway?
Don't know. It's already got leaky germs on it. But mate, you were recently in Rockhampton. Tell us about it.
Yeah, no.
You had a great experience there.
Oh yeah, it was. It's just pretty funny actually. I mean, because there's all this craze about the toilet paper in Australia, of course.
I don't understand that.
Bog roll fever.
I've got to say, I don't understand that. Why people are rushing for toilet paper above anything else?
Like, mate, I've heard the Indian food sales has gone through the roof. Yeah. That's all. So that's probably why.
I don't understand. Yeah, it's why do you go for toilet paper over food, water,
baked beans, Gusman,
the other essential
rice,
stuff? Yeah,
beer.
Yeah, but
case of gold, mate.
Case of gold. It's a seat. It's a beverage.
Exactly. But I mean, there was nothing new at Rockhampton. I mean, we've all seen the viral videos of people arguing over toilet paper.
Yeah, punch-ons, bit of handbags.
It's actually pretty crazy.
Mate, that's what I don't get. Like the fisticuffs, handbags. It's a bit over the top for me. But that being said, there are some people who are bagging, like 6 packets at a time, and there's people who are
selfish, hey.
Bit selfish, CJ. But for people who are desperate for one reason or another, and they can't get one.
Yeah.
So they should be able to get one, but Gusman, sorry. Interrupting you again.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
So I was at the Rockhampton Woolworths, that's where
we've all been there.
It's like the eighth wonder of the world.
Exactly.
It literally is. It's the main hotspot. It's the main hotspot in Rockhampton. No, I was there.
Snacks, mate.
I was there just before it opened because I hadn't had breakfast and I needed something to eat.
You thought, let's not go to a cafe. Let's go to Woolies, mate.
Well,
they've got a hot chook waiting for me. I'll take that home.
Did you consider Coles? Or are you a Woolworths man?
No,
what about
there
Aldi?
is a Coles.
Are we an Aldi? Let's gauge the room. Which is the supermarket of choice?
Oh, Woolworths.
Fresh food people.
Yeah.
You're the fresh food people.
Aldi's a rip-off of
I'm
everything.
between Aldi and the fresh food people.
I'm not going to go for a supermarket where me, as a private school boy,
have to bag your own stuff.
I'm expected to bag my own shopping.
Jesus, mate. You really are. This
can I get on with my story?
We're back in the Stone Age, CJ.
Jesus.
Can I get on with my story?
No.
So I was outside this Woolworths, 8:59, and there's like a big crowd out here, like
3 people. This is Rocky we're talking.
It was pretty crazy. There was like 30 or 40 people. outside this
Jeez,
Woolworths.
mate.
Yeah, and
They go
everyone
straight from there to the pub.
as
Yeah,
soon as
pretty much.
they open those
Watering hole.
the doors to the Woolworths, people rushed in, and the first destination was the
Did you add another syllable in there?
first destination was the toilet paper aisle. I think it's the toilet paper aisle.
Yeah, they have a whole aisle.
They did.
They could at the moment, though.
They could.
And
honestly, they'd be
and
smart too.
people rushed to this aisle, and to everyone's amusement, there was nothing
The Hunger
on
Games.
the shelf. Yeah, there was absolutely nothing.
As in, like,
Completely
already?
already there was nothing.
The staff
they
are
didn't put
pocketing
any
it.
out. They didn't put any out because they knew there'd just be like it'd just
Yeah.
get
Smart.
crazy.
So from like a safety point of view,
Yeah.
we don't want to put customers in jeopardy by not putting toilet paper out.
Especially
Yeah.
in Rocky.
yeah, there would have been punch-ons, I reckon. Like
You reckon?
Yeah, there would have been fisticuffs.
Well, again, we've seen that. It's not
Yeah.
a fantasy.
Yeah.
I guess that of
No.
seeing some fisticuffs, but it's pretty sad.
Yeah, but there was there was nothing on the shelf, and instead of going for toilet paper, everyone decided to go for paper towels, wet wipes.
Good substitute.
It was really quite crazy.
Yeah, well,
and us normal people, we actually just we just
Stretch.
we just want like one bloody roll of toilet paper.
I need my two-ply.
Mate,
I'm seriously running low on toilet paper right now.
Well, mate, you
And-
said you went for breakfast. You came for a nutritious breakfast. You know, most important meal of the day, is a lot to say. What did you get?
Okay, so I got a pack of what was it? 8 mini donuts. 8 or 10 mini donuts. Just cinnamon, nice orange
They are
juice.
good,
and,
to be fair.
Yeah, they
Oh,
are.
orange juice with it?
Cost me $5 for a bunch of donuts.
He's basically
and
losing
orange
money if
juice.
he doesn't get it.
Pretty
So-
much.
Wait, Siege, but what do you have for breakfast normally day to day? Because
Mate, you know me.
since you clearly
Mm.
suggesting that you're the breakfast expert
Mm.
of the BTS podcast,
Yeah,
what do you have for breakfast?
I don't eat breakfast. You know this, mate. You know this.
He has a coffee.
You don't eat it either.
He has a
um,
coffee.
I'm a
I
hypocrite.
have a coffee, yeah.
Survive on a coffee. You
Pretty
could
much.
honestly do that.
It's the most important meal of the day.
Last
Coffee
week-
and then toilet.
Last week before
That
One
sums
does
it up.
follow you up. That's
That
what the bog
sums
roll's
it up.
for, mate.
last week before uni, we were having a chat about
Yeah.
coffee, and one of you got a Snapchat of one of your mates, and he was having coffee, and it was like a bowl. Do you remember?
Oh,
that?
yeah. He had a full, it was like a cereal bowl
Yeah.
of,
a flat
I think
white.
Matt Short, actually. It was Matt Short's story.
Was it actually?
Yeah, my mate,
Your
Matt
mate,
Short.
okay.
No, it was his story. He was somewhere, I can't remember where, probably somewhere in South Australia. And yeah, they had a bowl, like a cereal bowl of coffee.
Like, that's a bit much.
That would,
As someone who doesn't
that would go
drink
straight through you, mate.
Yeah, Jeez, you need
Jeez.
the toilet paper then.
Yeah.
Rusty water. That's all.
For God's sake.
Anyway.
Anyway, let's actually get on topic. We got the Fast Five. That's 5 topics, 5 minutes. We try to stick to that. Let's try and stick to that. Let's go hard and fast this week, boys. Brisbane Broncos named Brodie Croft and Pat Carrigan, the UQ boy, as captains for this round 1, seeing as Alex Glenn is injured.
Yeah.
What do you reckon?
Yeah, so Alex Glenn's out with a hamstring injury for this first game this season for the Broncos. This is a surprise because these two have a combined 58 games of NRL experience. So it's,
That is experience.
See how he said that like he wasn't reading it off a Google
Yeah,
Doc?
I can see it right in front of me too.
What was it? I think it was 58 games.
yeah, I'm trying to be authentic. I'm
Keep
trying to
going,
be
keep
authentic here, Finn. Why
We're
don't you
going
just,
hard and fast, boys.
Why don't you just yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
good. It's not on the script. I can't
But
read
yeah,
it.
no. So Patrick Carrigan, he will be actually the youngest
Broncos captain.
Well, captain.
Mate,
in general.
Really?
Yeah.
He's,
It's his
what, is
20
he 19 or 20?
That's his 20th game though, and that's pretty telling. That is off the Google Doc too.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is.
Yeah, exactly. Good.
Yeah.
That's pretty telling. And
Alex Glenn's out with a hamstring injury.
Jeez, how did
Yeah,
you
That
know
was
I
off
think
the,
you-
that was
I
off the
think you
Google
mentioned
Doc.
that.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you,
yeah. I
Wikipedia.
said he was injured. I didn't say what it was.
And Brodie Croft, mate, he hasn't played a game for the Bronx.
And
Ever.
he's automatically captain.
And he's captain. I don't agree with that at all.
Nah, I don't at all.
The values of a club like the Broncos, one of the most famous clubs in rugby league, full stop, appointing 2 captains with minimal to no experience. It's troubling.
Yeah, and especially from, I guess, how it looks from the outside looking in, when you select Alex Glenn as your captain, someone who's got a lot of experience, maybe not the best player in the team, but he's got a lot of experience. He's probably a good leader behind the scenes. And then he gets injured and you go, 2 most inexperienced players who will probably be playing, we'll give them the captaincy. It seems like a bit of a shift. It's not one way of thinking to me.
Obviously, this is a sign that the Broncos are wanting to build their side around these guys.
Mm.
So they're trying to, because the Broncos have really had a problem with the spine of their side in recent times.
Yeah, no doubt.
They haven't been able to find a solid fullback, halfback, 5'8" pairing yet.
Yep.
So obviously they're going, okay, Brody, you're our guy for the future. We're going to give you the captaincy straight away.
No, it's
Which
pretty,
doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I mean,
Not to me, but
it's
we're not this captain.
yeah,
It's
Or the coach.
we're not the Broncos.
Or the
I wish.
CEO.
I wish, but it almost seems unprofessional. But Siege, we were speaking about it last week about the similarities between them and the Queensland Reds.
Yes.
Appointing Wright as the
Yeah,
skipper.
Liam
And
Wright.
He's only played. I think he's 21.
Mm.
He's played one Test match. He's
Yeah.
still reasonably inexperienced when it comes to Super Rugby.
100%.
So maybe it's a sign of the times that these teams are going. Let's look to the future.
Yeah, young
That's
blood.
That's as important as development right now.
They're two very young teams, so
They are.
it makes sense.
It doesn't. It's not necessarily all doom and gloom.
And it's a surprise that they've also gone with two people. I mean, a lot of the times clubs go with one captain.
And then a leadership group,
But I
maybe.
mean, you see this in NRL a lot. I mean, the West Tigers at one point had 4 captains.
No, last year they had
Weird.
5. It was
5, yeah.
It's
Weird.
And even the
Brisbane
the
Lions
Brisbane
have got
Lions,
9.
9, which is half of their
Well,
starting 18.
9 leadership group. Yeah, half the field are captains.
Yeah,
But,
no, the Tigers last year they had 1 captain and 4 vice captains.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like the leadership group all got roles.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like they were just told you're the leadership group. They were all vice captains.
Yeah, bit odd. I don't really understand it. Anyway, moving on. This is a bit of a weird one. And when I saw it, I think I saw it on Rugby Pass. Bit of a strange one. Bulls forced to change jerseys at halftime in Super Rugby clash against the Highlanders. How does this happen? They were both wearing these weird kits, blue kits that obviously were going to clash.
Mate, I've never seen this before in sport.
No.
Where a team at halftime, the home team, has had to change their kit. So basically, the Highlanders and the Pretoria Bulls, they both ran out at Loftus in blue kits. Because what New Zealand Super Rugby teams are trying to do at the moment is these recycled kits. I don't
Plastic
know what
jersey. Yeah, I think they're made from Parlay, maybe, which is a company.
something like that. But they're all blue, basically. But when you play the Bulls, you know, their Curry Cup team is called the Blue Bulls.
Yep.
That's telling of what colour this Bulls team wears. But basically, they both ran out in blue, and they couldn't differentiate. Hey, you know, which team's which?
Even in the refs in the change rooms when they were going to speak to the captains, they went, "Wait,
I just
I think
speak to you?"
I think I saw something like this about 5 seconds ago.
Deja vu.
Seriously, you're playing.
I think it's colourblind.
You're playing the sport professionally. You should be able to get your jerseys sorted. The team should be able to get their jersey sorted before the game.
Actually, just looking at you, Gusman, as the rugby league, not expert, the fan that you are, it reminded me.
Ooh, ouch.
That was an accidental sledge. The Warriors, the New Zealand Warriors women's team at the Auckland Nines.
They're wearing,
They left their jersey at the team hotel.
Yeah.
So before they ran on, they had to wear the men's jersey.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily foreign. The sport, it is rare. I'll give you that. But this is utterly bizarre, and I don't know how this comes about at all.
Well, I mean, let's not forget the Brisbane Roar when their numbers came off the back of their jerseys.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that was another embarrassing moment.
They were using tape, weren't they?
Yeah, they had to
Bit of duct tape. Chuck it
they
on.
literally did.
That's like something you see in Forts rugby in high school. You know, you go, oh, we're all wearing the same jersey. You know, chuck a 1 and a 5 on the back.
It's peak A-League.
It is peak A-League. But anyway, something that's peak UFC. Someone had a hematoma. All right, none of us know how to pronounce their name. Gussy, I'll give you first go.
Oh, you would throw me.
Yeah, throwing you under the bus, mate.
Joanna Jejic.
Yeah, see, I was practicing a bit before we recorded,
Oh, yeah?
and now I've got cold feet.
Yep.
So I think
We're not getting married. Just say it.
I think it's Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
Oh, interesting.
Oh,
I reckon it's Joanna Jędrzejczyk.
I'm pretty sure I was right, but actually
I don't think you were.
I think I was more right, but I'm pretty sure
You know
we
what?
were all very
You know
wrong.
what?
Very
I
wrong.
reckon we went with a different rhythm for that last
Everyone.
round.
Everyone.
like musically, that was like a different beat.
Yeah.
No, but it's not just us doing this either.
No.
Should be said. Boxing pundits, boxing
All the
commentators.
UFC
even Dana
commentators.
White, the owner of the UFC.
Joe Rogan as well.
He stuffs it up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So we're only human.
No, but
Don't blame us. But anyway,
We're not paid for this.
Gusman, what happened
Yeah,
at UFC 248?
Oh, this fight was one of the best UFC fights in history.
I think it's the best women's fight.
Yeah, but between Joanna, I'm not going to pronounce
Joanna
it.
who?
and
Come on,
Weili
stick with
Zhang.
it. Stick with your
No,
guns. Go.
Joanna Jędrzejczyk and Weili Zhang. Now, Joanna was actually left pretty much unrecognizable. Her face was like...
I don't think her phone let her back in
It
afterwards.
wouldn't have. She suffered a huge hematoma, which is like...
Blood clot kind of
it's
thing.
a blood clot. It's when the blood's not in its right place.
Burst blood vessel kind of
Her
thing.
head looked like...
It is swelling up.
Basically, her forehead was enlarged.
It was.
Yeah.
That's the
Someone
best way
had
to
just
put it.
scrolled in on her forehead on
Basically,
one side.
Exactly. It looked like Photoshop, but it looked fake.
I
That's
thought I
the
didn't think
thing.
it was real either.
I saw it on one page and I thought, okay, someone's playing around. Someone's got a bit
Yeah.
of spare time on their hands. But then you see it, for real. You see the footage, the video footage. And you start going, Jesus, what a brutal sport.
Yeah.
You know what this reminds me of? You know when you get a footy and you're playing in the backyard.
Oh,
It's like
I know
an
where
old
this is
footy,
going.
and
Yeah.
you kick it and the stitching comes apart, and then it
Yes.
hits, and this big welt comes out the side of it.
The bladder comes out.
the bladder comes out. That's
Looks
actually
exactly
what
like that.
it looks like.
She had a big egg on her head.
She
But
did.
mate,
It was horrible.
That should not happen to a human being.
No,
Anyway, something
poor
I do
thing.
want to mention just quickly, the main fight that night, Israel Adesanya versus Yoel Romero. Israel getting it done on decision, but boys... Kiwi Nigerian. Grew up in Auckland for a bit and that type of thing. But again, this was an interesting fight. They didn't really go at each other, which is not what you want for a title fight. But still, Israel getting it done, keeps his undefeated record in the UFC alive. I think we'd love to see a rematch with Whittaker in the future, the Australian, but I guess we'll have to see.
Well, we will see. And someone that we may see is the next nobody. And when I say
Nobody.
nobody who.
Because nobody's perfect, CJ.
Exactly. Young Red Star, the Terrace old boy, Harry Wilson, he's been incredible this season. Someone who hasn't been, he's been incredible on the field. Jock Campbell, not great in front of goal, however. I think he's 12 from 21, I think.
The issue is Jock Campbell.
Yeah.
Bryce Hegarty as well. And I think Jock, before he got injured, did a bit of the goal kicking.
Yeah.
But Jock mainly, and Jock Campbell, has not been great.
No. So Harry Wilson could be set to take over goal kicking duties for Queensland and, maybe even Oz if he makes the team. I know that's a shout,
That's
but
a bit of a
I don't know.
push.
It's a bit of a push, but I mean...
if he gets into that Australian side, I wouldn't be... I wouldn't be surprised if he...
Who
did
is
take-
kicking for them? Curtly Beale?
For the Australian for
Yeah.
the Wallabies? Well,
Yeah.
the team hasn't been selected yet, Cam.
I know, but who has recently been kicking for them?
You'd look at, Reece Hodge,
Mm,
Matt
yeah.
Tanoa,
Mm-hmm.
even Curtly Beale.
Yeah.
So I don't think Harry Wilson to
And number
suggest that he's going to kick for the Wallabies is a bit outlandish. Again, because he has a lot of competition to get into that team, first and foremost. Kicking for the Reds, I think it's on the cards if he can actually do it well. Obviously, Brad Thorne, he knows better than most at the moment, but the other options aren't firing.
No, do you know if he kicked for Terrace in his senior year?
I don't
No,
think he did.
no, I don't think he
Isaac
did.
Lucas did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, true. I forget that they were in the same grade.
Exactly. So does that become an option? The All Blacks.
Oh, he's not getting in the side. Well, he
That's-
might be
that-
this week because of injuries and stuff.
That's the thing. But the All Blacks, they brought in Richie Mo'unga not mainly as a goal kicker, but that was one of the reasons he came in at 10 and Bowden Barrett switched back to fullback. The Reds could do something similar. Possibly bring Isaac Lucas in some
At
capacity.
15?
Maybe, I don't think at 15. Unless they want to put Jock on the wing, but again, they'd have to fine tune that. But they could bring Lucas in to goal kick. Even
Chuck
if
him
he,
at 10.
maybe, even with a Jock going down, that's
Yeah.
plausible.
Well, he started at 10 at the start of the season.
He
He got
did,
dropped and moved Jock inside, and he got chucked on
I think
the old piece of wood.
We've got to stop calling James O'Connor Jock.
Yeah,
'cause
it's too
quite
confusing. It's so confusing.
But with O'Connor going down, I think this is the perfect time to maybe blood Lucas and hand him the tee.
Yeah.
I think John Eales did goal kick for the Reds and the Wallabies famously, Bledisloe 2000. But again, I don't think it's professional nowadays.
It's a very weird
It doesn't
concept.
seem right.
Have your number 8 kick for you, or
Well, I
one
mean,
of your
If he's the
forwards.
best, do it.
If you're looking at the other Australian sides, their goal kickers are kicking at 50 to 60%.
That's not very good.
No, it's not. And
you
if
look-
Wilson can offer better than that, then why not go for him?
You need to be hitting at about 80%.
Yeah, exactly.
80 to 90%. These I forgot his name, but the Sharks kicker. I think he's kicking at about 84, 86.
Yeah.
They're
Something
3
like that.
points.
They are,
And
mate.
it's so important.
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. I think points. I think he could
I think points you
give
can
or
go without.
take. Anyway, the AFL. They could be. We will mention this later in the interview, but they could be playing in front of empty stadiums. Also, I'll touch on this. The NRL hasn't done anything about it.
Well, no, 'cause
surprise.
It's not going to bother the Roosters.
No.
They're pretty used to it. Goes quiet. Anyway,
Actually, the Roosters have one of the best crowd attendances in the league.
anyway,
Wow.
I've heard
Best
that.
memberships. So
I've heard that
Most money.
the question asked to Lincoln later in the interview is very good. So people should listen
Why?
to that.
Because you said it, mate.
Did I? Oh God,
Oh, I
did.
forget.
I
Oh.
forget.
Anyway, yeah, but they could be playing in front of empty stadiums. The AFL said, if coronavirus persists, then they might be going, sorry, fans, not allowed in.
So what do you think, Sage?
I'm not a huge fan. Not going to make a difference at Metricon, but Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of this. But, I mean, if it keeps everyone safe, it's a good call.
I think that's paramount at the moment, though. Oh, sorry, Gussy.
I think they're blowing this way out of proportion.
Oh, no, I agree.
Seriously. I mean, the likelihood of you catching coronavirus for a start and then dying from it is even less of a chance.
Isn't it like 0.2%?
It's
for us.
It's 2%.
But for people over, like, I think it's over 70, it's around 10 to 20% chance of mortality.
I think it's a little bit ridiculous at this stage. I mean, the common flu kills more people.
No, I agree, but you'd rather be safe than sorry in this regard. But I think
teams
as a league,
teams and leagues around the world, they're adopting this policy. You know, the Serie A postponed for a month.
Yeah, but
Champions League matches being played behind closed doors.
It's a little bit different in Italy. They've had hundreds of confirmed cases.
But
Australia haven't had any,
what happens
if
that happens at games? If it starts to become a thing in Australia and you go, well, maybe we shouldn't have played those games because that's how it happened in Italy.
Actually, we should touch on it quickly. For starters, congratulations, Australian women, winning last week. Should have mentioned that. But you look at that.
It was huge.
86,000 people at the MCG not bothered by coronavirus. Now, but can a league get away with that for a season versus a one-off? I don't think so. If this is the pandemic, that could arguably postpone the Olympics.
Yeah. Sell your stock in 4 and 20s. That's what I would say, just in case.
What?
Sell your stock in 4 and 20.
I just can't believe how people are blowing this out of proportion. It's just insane.
Well, even LeBron James, he was asked about it, I think 2 weeks ago, and he said, I'm not playing. If I have to play in front of empty arenas, I'm not playing because my job is to entertain. And I see merit in that, but at the end of the day, sport's second to health in this situation. Exactly. So health has to come first. But again, it's weird, Siege.
Yeah, it is. And we hope everyone's okay. Should be all good. Stay safe, faithful. But this week we are talking to Linc McCarthy of the Brisbane Lions. What an absolute legend. The man with altitude sickness. We had some good questions for him, I like to think, but we had a bit of a laugh in the middle there that maybe a friend of the show gave us a little bit of a hint towards a bit of a mistake he maybe made in pre-season. You know, he came in a bit, maybe... I'm not going to sell it.
Yeah, don't ruin it.
I'm not going to sell him out. I'm not going to sell the story, but it involved chicken and abo sandwich.
True, that would be pretty mean to Connor.
It's a weird detail, chicken and abo.
Don't. He's going to... You're a snitch. Finn is a snitch.
Snitches get stitches.
Exactly. Let's get into the interview. And we're here with Linc McCarthy of the Brisbane Lions, a man who's pretty used to some altitude, maybe get a bit of altitude sickness every now and again. Round 22 against your former club, Geelong. I mean, it's pretty iconic. It's actually in our intro theme. How was it?
Yeah, obviously, I hadn't burst my old teammates. Obviously, still really good friends with a lot of them. So I was kind of, it just felt really weird. Obviously, in the lead up to the game, it wasn't really playing a very good game or anything, but I was lucky to be able to sort of contribute late in that game, and we were able to hang on for the win. So yeah, it was obviously. It was just an awesome environment to be in on that day.
And Linc, mate, it was very important, but is that something that you guys practice week to week, or is that more instinct?
No, not really. I guess it's hard to emulate at training. You don't want to be sort of smashing into your teammates' backs too much and things like that. There is a lot of the taller guys do like bag jumping, when you carry that big cushion bag on the back and you jump into that. A lot of the guys do that, but yeah, not so much us smaller guys. We sort of work on more so our front and square stuff. But yeah, we do other types of marking practice, but yeah, not so much sort of the jumping in the back one.
Well, how happy are you to be able to play regular footy after injuries at your time at Geelong?
Yeah, obviously to be able to play consistent, not so much consistent, but regular footy is something I've always been striving to do. And yeah, to finally be able to sort of start doing that, I only sort of got one season together at Geelong, and then to be able to do that consistently last year, I was obviously really pleased. And then, just getting through another pre-season, just I guess has allowed me to start really working on my game and how I fit in with our forward 6 or 7. And yeah, it's just been really exciting, and it's what I've been trying to do for years now, and it's finally starting to come together.
Yeah, well, a lot of those years, at Geelong, you did have a few injury problems. Would you like to just tell us kind of what that was like, some of the troubles you had? And I guess, Brisbane Lions last year had a sensational injury record. What you think kind of changed in that regard?
Yeah, it's well, early on, I played a little bit in my first year, just in the VFL, but then I had a navicular bone injury, so I had that ruined my 2013 season, 2015 season, and a little bit of 2014. So I wasn't able to play much basically over that spread of 3 years, and then played a full season at Geelong in the AFL 2016, but pretty much had OP or sort of like an OP type groin issue through that whole year, and then was unable to really shake that for the next year. So I missed the following season as well. And then that just led to sort of more problems in 2018. So it was just a bit of a sort of a shit fight, I guess. Because I guess when you're injured, there's times within the season where you're really pushing to get back, and then there's times where you've just got to pull the pin. And I found that because we were sort of playing catch up a lot, I never really had the right amount of conditioning under me before I would play games, and then that led to other soft tissue injuries. So, and the nature of the game is you're trying to get back and play finals footy, and the timing sort of meant that every time I was coming back from injuries, I'd be pushing to get games in before finals, and probably just pushed myself too much rather than just letting the injury and rehab play its course. So certainly not putting it down to Geelong's medical staff. It's probably more of a mindset shift for me, and being able to move to another club allowed me to really reset that. And under the guidance of the medical team up here, I've really had to pull back myself, and they've guided me in doing that, knowing that my urge is to really push. So yeah, I've been really fortunate that it's working out at the moment.
But mate, what's been the secret at the Brisbane Lions? Because last season you guys were seemingly blessed from above when it came to keeping blokes on the park and keeping them fit. And this year, apparently, all the squad are fit for round one at the G against the Hawks next weekend. What's the secret to the Lions keeping these, I guess, players on the park?
Yeah, look, I don't know, mate. I guess our medical and fitness guys are the gurus in that sense. They look at all the numbers. They do a lot of research. They're all really quite experienced in their field. So I guess they set the platform for us and just basically guide us and train us the way that they know how, and that they know gets results. And I guess we're just fortunate to be on the end of that, and we just got to trust them and listen to them and get to work. And fortunately, over the last few years, we've had some really good injury rates. And the positive out of it, I guess, is that everyone that's trying to play AFL footy is able to basically play AFL footy, or at least push to play AFL footy. So definitely a really positive for our team, and having more players pushing senior players to spots is really a really healthy environment and makes our list better. So I guess that makes it a higher performing environment to be in.
Yeah, mate, awesome. And quick shout out to the Lions medical team, of course. But mate, do you think that was the key to your success last season, keeping blokes on the park?
I guess there's a lot of things that contribute to being successful. I guess if you've got a healthy list, you've got numbers to be out on the park and working on their game. So it's really important to have a healthy list in that sense. But then it's about making the most of the position you're in. We've got blokes. We're trying to create a culture and environment where people are keen to rock up to train, get to work, help each other out, and be a really selfless teammate. So that's the sort of culture we're trying to drive at the moment. A really selfless type brand, and we try and drive that every day at training, and then hope that comes out in games, because that's what we believe is going to make us a successful team.
Well, do you think the Brisbane Lions can replicate that same form that you showed in 2019?
Yeah, well, we certainly hope so. We made really good progress, I thought, last year as a footy team and a footy club. We were able to play some good footy. We were able to get back some members and get new members on board. It was a really exciting time for the football club. So that was a really positive sign for us. But we've got to be able to back that up. We can't be a sort of a one-hit wonder or one season go-ahead type side. We think we've got the list and the capabilities to keep pushing and keep improving, and that's our mantra, is just to keep improving. every day, every week, every year. So certainly we're pushing to be better than what we were last year, but it's easier said than done. So we'll just have to keep our focus on the opposition that's in front of us.
Yeah, mate, did say, what was it like last year coming from, so the Lions didn't get much of a crowd at the start of the season, but then as the season went on, you started to get more sellouts. Mate, how was that to play in front of a sold-out Gabba?
Yeah, it was amazing. Obviously, over the last probably 10 years, the crowds have really diminished up here at Brizzy. So to see what it meant to the guys that have been here for a long time, how excited they were to actually start to see crowds showing up at the Gabba and supporting the team was I found it was just really nice to see. Those guys were really enjoying playing in front of some big crowds, and I think that really drove us to perform, to be honest. We've got that internal drive, we think anyway, but to have that real crowd vibe, that real supportive environment from the crowd, it's amazing what that can do for your momentum and motivation to really give the fans what they want, and that's obviously trying to perform well and win games. So yeah, it's amazing. I've come from an environment at Geelong where we were fortunate enough to be in a real AFL bubble, and a lot of fans would come to pretty much every game, whether that be at Geelong or at the MCG or Etihad. So I guess that was sort of what I was used to, but yeah, to see what it meant for all the other guys that haven't really experienced that as much was pretty special.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. It's always nice to have support, so I guess that big driving factor, no doubt. But we have to touch on it, coronavirus. It's a big thing at the moment. And the AFL captains, they were asked last week about, what they would make of playing in front of an empty stadium should it come to that. I guess I just want to hear your thoughts on that, and I guess would you be comfortable with that?
I guess so. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I haven't actually put too much thought into it, but yeah, I guess if we have to, we have to. But I guess what we're as a business and a product, we're here in the entertainment industry to provide for our supporters and fans, and we're probably not doing that if there's an empty stadium. But I guess with our TV rights, I imagine they can still get in and film the games and have a live broadcast in that sense, and be able to put the games on TV for our fans. But yeah, I personally don't have a real opinion for that one, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, we will, and let's hope those cameras can get in there. Speaking of cameras, speaking of the media, what have you found is the difference? Obviously we live up in Queensland, Brisbane. It's a little bit different of a footy media climate compared to down south. How have you found it change?
Sort of like I mentioned earlier, it's a bit, I guess, Queensland at the moment probably still more dominated by rugby league. And so I guess you get a lot more interest in that. But sort of the shift when we started performing well last year, just from people around the street, they seem a little bit more interested in AFL, interested in the Lions. Yeah, I guess probably for more the high-profile guys would see that a little bit more just personally, but certainly from our membership numbers, it's been a real positive, obviously. But yeah, I don't sort of tend to worry about that sort of stuff too much in terms of media or whatever, because I feel as if media are always sort of interested in it. But yeah, once we started performing better, I guess towards the back end of last year, it was it was probably a good attention to have from the media, because it shows that we're starting to go okay.
Yeah, and how are you finding yourself fit into the club? Obviously, you're going into your second year now at the club. How have you find yourself fit in? What's the locker room like? What's the whole, I guess, dynamic like down at the Lions? Yeah,
I'm loving it, to be honest. That was probably, you have a little bit of anxiety about going to a new club, seeing if you'd fit in and whatnot. But yeah, it's a really enjoyable playing group. We've still got quite a young age demographic in terms of our list, and I guess the younger guys that bring a real energy to the group, and probably I probably feel like a 21-year-old, although I'm 26. So it's a really fun, positive environment. It's also a really, really purposeful environment where us older guys get to help those young guys develop and provide a good legacy for our club, I guess. So yeah, it's a great environment. We're all striving to be as best we can, and really enjoying it.
Yeah, and you guys have a lot of young players, obviously, through maybe some not so great years in the past. Number one pick, Cam Rayner. And speaking of him, there's a few odd nicknames at the club. You've got Pumbaa. I don't know where that comes from for Cam Rayner. I'd love you to tell me. We've also got Bonesy. I've heard that one of Stephen Martin, amongst others. So do you know how they got those names? And, are there any others you like? Because there's a few unique ones at the club.
Yeah, they are unique. But because they were probably nicknames before I even arrived here, I haven't delved too much into that. But yeah, you have to ask someone in the know.
Yeah,
that can provide you with an update.
I'd love to know why Cam Rayner's called Pumbaa. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't know where that comes from.
There's no connection.
No, he doesn't look like a warthog, I don't think.
He's a beast.
He's an absolute ripper, isn't he? But I've spoken with one of the boys at the club. I'm not going to sell him out because he's a friend of the show. He's a friend. We're not going to sell him out. He's told me to ask you apparently about a situation when you may have rocked up a little late to a pre-season training out at Brendale. What's happened there?
Yeah. Geez, not my finest moment, that one. So yeah, we get our schedule updates on the WhatsApp group. I was just getting a little bit sick of the WhatsApp group sort of buzzing on my phone all the time.
Oh, I know how you feel. Gussy gives us some terrible messages sometimes, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
We aren't in the Lions group chat though, so we can't really relate, but anyway.
Yeah, so I got sick of my phone buzzing all the time, and I was like, "Fuck, this WhatsApp's annoying me," so I muted it. And I thought we had a 2:30 meeting, I think it was, and I had plenty of time. Like I was just cruising. I was having a great day actually, and driving out to Brendale. We were for one of our pre-season training sessions. It was an afternoon session. Thought I was going to be there at about 2:00, so I was there about half an hour early. So I got there. I reckon it would have been 2:05.
Yeah.
And the meeting that I didn't know about was starting at 2:00. And I walked in and I had a chicken and avocado sandwich. And I've decided for some reason I was going to walk in the back way through the back meeting door because I was going to go speak to my coach on the way in.
Mm.
And as I've walked into the front of the meeting. So I walked in behind Fags and saw the whole group while Fags was addressing them. And I've gone, oh my God. And Fags has gone, and I've just had a haircut that day as well. And so it was a sharp one, a bit too aggressive for my liking. And I've walked in and I thought Fags, so he said, where you been? And I said, oh, yeah, shit, sorry, I didn't know we had a meeting at 2:00. And someone in the meeting yelled out, new haircut. And I thought Fags said new haircut, and I thought they'd ask where I go. And so I've explained with a mouthful of food where I went for my haircut, and then it was just a shambles. So, I just apologised to the boys, and when we got out on the training track, probably said, I won't mute the WhatsApp message again. I'll just cop the messages and make sure I'm not late to any more meetings.
Yeah, I'm sure there was a few sledges out on the park after that one.
Yeah, well, if you've been late once, you're just the late boy, really, aren't you?
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You can't, it doesn't matter how many points you got in the bank. As soon as you take out those points, you're the late guy.
Yeah, so that is the label.
It's hard to shake.
Yeah, exactly. You mentioned there muting the group chat. Is there any player at the Lions you'd like to mute in real life? Is there anyone who gives you a bit too much lip?
Jeez,
that you just want to... Well, I mean, Gussy, I would love to mute Gussy right now. Jeez. But is there anyone you'd like to mute?
Gussy's chirping. Gee whiz, Robbo. He
that would have been my pick.
Say, doesn't he?
I would have thought he would.
You can't get rid of him. You go to the club, he's loud, he scares you, he's aggressive, but he's in a good way.
Yeah.
And then you flick through your social media and there's more Robbo. So he's a great man, Rob.
Yeah, he is.
But
well,
he could do with the odd mute.
You'd hope he's a good talker. He's got his own podcast. He should be used to
he's
it.
doing really well, actually. And
Yeah, it is.
I really enjoy some of the topics.
Yeah,
He has
100%.
to speak about.
Are you going to get on it
but
soon?
yeah, nah, he only takes big dogs, so I'll have to play a bit better footy than I am now if I'm to go on that.
That's 2020 for you, mate.
No, we'll see how we go.
Now, looking forward to round 1 against Hawthorn, what have the boys done to prepare?
Yeah, we haven't changed up too much, to be honest. We, I don't want to be that cliche guy, but we've been just pretty much trying to stick to our process. We know that last year we made some real gains, and sometimes if teams don't quite make it, they try and reinvent the wheel. We're sort of trying to just stick to what we know and what we know made us improve. So if we can keep doing that, but do it better, we think we can challenge any opposition, and so that's what we're hoping to bring against the Hawks. They're a really, really strong, experienced side. They've had, their list has changed a little bit since their real premiership phase, but they're a really strong side, and we're really looking forward to the challenge next Sunday.
Well, is there anyone in the Lions squad right now that's impressing you that you think will show a lot in 2020?
Yeah, who we got? I've really liked the way Cal Archie's come in and really adapted and adopted our system. He's done a really good job. He uses the ball really well. He's a really good defender. He's really quick, and he gives us a bit of dash off half back. So I guess he's really impressed me. As well as young Dev Robinson. He's come over from Perth.
Draftee.
He's a draftee, yep. So this is his first year. He played in the Marsh game just on the weekend. Really smart, tough, on baller, that also plays a little bit forward. So, yeah, he's been really impressive. So, but, yeah, to be honest, there's a really big group of those guys really pushing for spots, like I said earlier. So it'll be interesting and exciting to see how that evolves throughout the season.
Yeah, it certainly will. And both those, Cal Archie, all the preseason, he's been playing very well. Robertson played his first game on the weekend. How do you reckon they went? Yeah,
pretty good, I thought. Put yourself in an 18-year-old shoes who's just been picked for their sort of first game, albeit the preseason game. You'd be pretty nervous, I would have thought. But yeah, I thought he did a great job, to be honest. Straight in the midfield, he was bodying up against some big guys like Paddy Cripps and some experienced guys like that. Mark Murphy's one of those as well. So he definitely held his own for us, as did Cal in the back line. So yeah, it was really pleasing.
Yeah, and you guys came second last year. How do you guys want to build on that? Where do you guys reckon you'll end up next year if you were to have a punt?
Mate, it's hard to know, to be honest.
Yeah.
Obviously we'd love to be top. But if you put yourself within that top 8, then you're a chance to go all the way. Any team is. That's the beauty of our game, I reckon. It's so unpredictable. But yeah, obviously we don't really like to put numbers on things. We just sort of talk about constant improvement and hope that puts us in a good spot late in the year.
Well, mate, is improving enough? What are your hopes and expectations for 2020? Again, is it to improve or is it to be there on grand final day?
Oh, certainly that's the ultimate goal, is to be there on grand final day and take home the cup. But it's just not something we really talk about too much at the club. We sort of think if we're result driven that we'll forget about process, and that's something that our coaches and players like to reinforce. In team meetings and in any sort of footy chat, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves. So yeah, I think just keep driving process, and the result generally should look after itself.
Yeah, and I'm sure they will. And we wish you all the best for the 2020 season. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Linc McCarthy.
Thanks for having me, guys. Good on you.
And the man who featured in our intro song, he always does. He features on the podcast. He gets a bit more. I think the big ride.
He would have featured for the first time in about episode 9.
Yeah, around
in the
then.
intro. So to put that into perspective, it's not a fluke.
No,
it's not a spur of the moment. Let's chuck him in because we're going to get him on in
big
a few
fans.
weeks. Yeah, big fans.
Big
Iconic.
Moment. Very iconic.
I remember watching that game, and for me, that was the moment when it was like, hey, the Lions are the real deal. or they could do something dangerous.
At round 22.
Well,
But even at that stage, it was still like, okay, they've got a tough run home. They're going to falter. They're going to drop down the league.
Yeah.
But beating the Cats, like, they mean business.
Oh, it was huge.
Well, that was mark of the season, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't?
No, Liam Ryan won mark. It didn't even win mark of the round.
Really?
Because it had mark of the season in the same, like mark of the year in the same round.
God, I love
Surely,
footy.
I love footy. That is cricket.
Surely you're thinking that's up
footy.
there.
That's cricket.
I mean, circumstance-wise, like the time of the game. I mean, last couple minutes
Mate, against
That
Miracle
ma-
on
that
Grass
makes-
2.0.
That
they
makes
say.
it even more better.
Against more better.
More better. That's
Against this
right.
against this old club as well. I think
Exactly.
it's a
50th
fairy
game.
tale.
It was his 50th game.
Oh, couldn't script it any better.
You cannot write this stuff. You know?
Jesus.
Absolutely iconic. Yeah, thank you very much, Linc McCarthy, for coming on to the show. Thank you very much to the Brisbane Lions as well. Let's give them a little bit of a shout out and wish them all the best for this season.
Yeah,
I reckon they'll do well.
I think so.
Speaking of...
Okay. No, no.
Sorry, no, you go.
Oh, no, because I think we're about to say the same
I
thing
think
there,
we are.
CJ.
Buy me
I
a
was going
Coke.
to say, how well do you think the Lions will do in season 2020?
You know what? I have put them at 7th in my ladder.
yeah.
I think they'll drop off a little bit because they were a bit... The only reason I say that is because, you know, they were flawless injury last
They were
year.
very lucky, weren't they?
They were very lucky in terms of their injury record.
Well, so you look at their NEFL squad. Like, they were so good because so few of them had to step up.
Exactly. None of them played senior games all season. It was pretty much unchanged,
Yeah.
the whole lineup, which is just unheard of.
It went a long way. I really
Yeah.
think
I think it really did.
Yeah,
so I think they'll still be great. They've got great players, but I think they'll have a bit of a down year just because, you know, you can't have a flawless injury record every single season.
I don't know. That Lions medical team.
They're pretty good. Hire
Pretty
them up.
good.
Hire them
Pretty
up,
good.
I reckon. No, but I've got them at 7. Where do you guys have them?
I'm agreeing with you, mate.
You agreeing with me?
Same reasons. Second year syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they didn't win it last year, so normally second year syndrome wouldn't fit into this, I guess, description or scenario. But
No.
basically, I think they showed their hand last year.
Mm-hmm.
And being a young team, I think they're going to struggle to back that up. But we'll see. Hopefully, they do better.
Young nucleus.
But if I had to bet on it, 7th.
Mhm.
I think they sneak into the 8th.
Look, I think they've definitely got to start the season well. I've got them in 6th. So I'm a little bit higher than you guys,
Yeah.
but
He's the
I think-
optimist.
I think they'll continue some of the form they showed in 2019, but yeah, I think second was a good shout for them last year. I don't think they'll be able to replicate that. That was that was a pretty special year for them.
And you also look at...
Sorry? No, you go, mate.
Mate, you were
Stop.
too good to me.
Let's
You were
stop.
we need like a bell or something.
Exactly,
To go,
exactly.
to speak. You look at the Tigers last year.
Mm.
You know, they kind of built into the finals, but they didn't necessarily finish where their form warranted.
Well, yeah, the Lions sort of ran out of gas, didn't
That's
they?
the thing.
At
So
the
it's
end.
about, you know, finishing second. I don't think really showcased how like where that Lions team were at.
Yeah.
And you saw that in the finals. They went out in straight sets at home, playing against the Tigers and then GWS.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're a young side, so showing up in those big games is going to be really important for them this year. But yeah, I just don't. I see him making the 8. I don't see him troubling anyone in the finals, though.
I reckon they could maybe win a game or two in the finals. Who knows?
See, if
We'll see.
if they had a sombrero for the salary cap like the Roosters, then they'd be off to the races.
They'd be winning it every year. Let's go back to front. How about this? Let's go from 8. Gus, who do you have at 8?
I have the Hawks.
You have the Hawks finishing?
At number 8. I mean, we'd love to see the Hawks of a few years ago, wouldn't we? When they dominated the competition.
Exactly.
I'm not even a Hawks
I think you've
fan,
been
but-
copying my notes, pal. I have them in the same spot. Yeah, I have them in
do
the
you
same
actually?
spot. Yeah,
Wow,
no.
okay. I think
Yeah.
I think they'll just sneak in there. They were there or thereabouts last year. I think they finished 9th or 10th last year.
Yeah, around there.
So yeah, I think they'll just sneak in.
They will. I mean, they were 9th last year. The addition of Jonathan Patton, huge.
Man, that's huge, eh? That's such
Massive.
such a big loss for my boys, the Giants.
I think it's almost filling. I'm not saying he's the exact same player, but it's filling a void that they've kind of been missing over the past few years of Buddy Franklin.
Yeah. No,
I
it's like
think
that.
that's what it's filling.
They've had nearly a decade now. I'm going to say 8 years without Buddy. Where they've tried to fill that void. Something
Yeah,
like
around
that,
about.
isn't it?
So
8
maybe
years.
not as much, but yeah, close to it.
But still,
if not,
he could step up. But I think he's a big loss for the Giants as well. So can they fill that gap?
who
I
knows?
think that could almost be the story of their season.
Yeah,
if
well,
they can or can't.
Exactly. Well, Finn and I, we had the Lions in at 7th. We've already heard that.
Can I say my 8th, actually?
Oh, sorry, I forgot about that.
There you
Who
go.
do you have at 8th?
I think the Saints, mate. Now,
Saints.
we're talking about this off air. The Saints, for me, I don't know what it is, but they're dangerous. Something about them, it's unpredictability. And I think some lowly team, is going to sneak into that top 8. And something about the Saints. I think they showed glimpses of it last year.
Yeah.
I think
Bit of a smoky.
bit of a smoky there, Gus.
I do like them. I guess some honourable mentions would probably have to be Carlton. Might have to be in and around there because they've looked pretty decent over the past few years.
But mate, they're too dependent on Patrick Cripps to the point where I don't think they can really get into that top 8.
Sam Walsh.
Yeah, but it's like, again, 2 players.
Yeah.
1 player in his second year. I don't think that's enough to get you into the top 8.
No.
That's enough to maybe get you some wins, some runs on the board and see you move up the league. But something about the Saints, again, I think they're more of a team of up-and-comers.
Yeah.
Rather than, established 2 players and the rest.
Yeah, no doubt. They'll definitely improve, I think. Another team that will probably improve, Melbourne Demons. What are we saying?
Mate, they could. I mean,
They're smoky.
Going into last year, many people were predicting them to be the minor premiers. Now, the year before that, I think they lost, was it the prelim?
Yeah,
No, it wasn't the prelim to the Hawks.
It was one of those games.
Maybe, yeah, it was
Maybe the
something like
semi
that.
or something.
Yeah, semi. I think it was the semi to the Hawks at the G. And that was an upset. And they were so close to winning that game as well. And if they win that game, their 2019 season's a lot different.
Yeah.
But again, they had some key signings before last year, expected to do well, and they couldn't. They folded. I think they could be back this year. I don't have them in my 8, but they're in the mix.
Yeah, they've had a change of leadership as well. Captain stood down. Now Maxi Gawn is captain, which is good to see.
He's injured, isn't he?
He is injured, I believe, at the moment.
He's gone.
He's gone. I like it. Jack Viney's vice captain, so he'll probably step up. Another probably one to mention would probably have to be Port Adelaide. They were close last year. Can't really count them out. They're a good side.
They are another side that's just very unpredictable. You just don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, 100%. Finn and I, we had the Lions in at 7th. You had them at 6th. Who do you have filling that 7th void, Gusman?
I have your Dogs in at
You
7th.
are dead to me, my friend.
Yeah, no.
You mean
look,
Bev's Dogs?
yeah, Bev,
No.
Isn't it a shame that you share the same love,
See,
love
Gussy,
that Bev does?
No.
Gussy, I reckon Bev and Campbell would get along really well.
Like a house on fire.
Like- yeah,
best friends
definitely.
type stuff.
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely, yeah.
Oh, friends.
friends.
Bulldogs friends.
Guarantee he started going for them after 2016 as well.
He did.
Yeah, I reckon he
guarantee.
did.
Interesting question for Bev if he's listening. If there were a
Which he is.
Yeah, of course. If there's a Tasmanian team, who do you reckon he'd support?
Oh, he has to shift his allegiance.
Do you reckon
Surely.
he would?
Surely.
Or do you reckon he'd be like, I support 2 teams because of this reason?
I'll be like, no, you don't. You're a fake fan.
Yeah.
He's not even from. I don't know what his allegiance is to the Dogs. Do we know? Can we get a fact check on why Bev supports the Dogs? Probably because they won the 2016 flag.
Probably. I reckon that's probably a
which
shout.
I was there. Just to,
Yeah. No,
You love bringing that up,
best,
don't you, mate?
I love
Yeah.
bringing up best day of my
no,
life.
I don't see the
nothing could top that. Not
I don't
even
see
a kid.
the Bulldogs replicating that 2016 year where
We'll
they
play
took
that
it
back
out.
in about 15 years.
Thank you.
So yeah, I've got them down in 7th. I don't think they'll trouble this year for a premiership. And
Thanks, mate.
I'm not just saying that to be mean.
Well,
Yeah, but-
you're wrong because they're ranked as the number 1 team going into the
But
season.
it's not even that siege. Mate, 2016, the year they won it, what did they come?
They came 7th.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? So they were kind of
Ooh.
out of the mix,
okay.
in that sense. But
Forgot
they,
about that.
but they rallied.
Maybe you might
Peaked at the right time.
I
goes
might be
back-
happy if they finish in 7th.
Yeah, exactly.
Mate, it goes back to what I was saying before about the Tigers. It's about peaking at the right time or
Yeah.
building momentum at the right time of the season.
Mm.
Doggies, even if they come 7th, don't write them off.
Exactly. I mean, last year I thought we were hitting form at the right time too. We kind of late inclusion to the 8. You know, we really forced our way in there, which is really good to see. And then Matt Renshawed the bed against GWS, so it wasn't good to see. Who again they Renshawed the bed in the final. So runs in the game.
Yeah.
Anyway, who did you have in 6? Phineas.
Doggies.
Doggies.
Yep.
There we go.
So
Thanks, guys.
I reckon they're a step up from 2016, mate. A bit more dangerous.
Bit
in
more
that
potent.
regard.
The addition of
Potent.
Alex Keith at the back and, Josh Bruce up front. He kicked 4 snags on the weekend. Good stuff from him.
Preseason form is so important too.
It's incredibly important, mate.
Man, it's
It means nothing
everything.
else.
everything.
Exactly. Well, Marcus Bontempelli is probably up there with I think the captain said he was the best player in the league.
They ranked him, yeah. So
He won the Coaches Player of the Year last season as well.
just saying, could he earn higher honours in 2020? We'll chat about that in a bit.
We will
But
chat
anyway,
about that in a
who'd
bit.
you have at 6?
I had your boys, GWS Giants, mate.
Okay, now it's just an ego competition.
Yeah, exactly. We were talking about doing what to the bed. They're pretty much the best at it. Matt Renshawing it. So, I think they'll drop a little bit. I think the loss of Jonathan Patton will be big for them. All those players are getting a little bit older and stuff like that. I don't know. They've got a good young side, but I think they've got some experienced guys that, might drop off.
Well, the thing is, Jeremy Cameron, I look at him, And at the end of last year, there are a lot of talks about he wants to go back to Victoria.
Now
that might
froth that.
That might not be an issue this season, but you look at 2021, crystal ball time. If he does go, that Giants team are going to be so undemand because they're basically
100%.
they've cashed in all their chips from that, from lottery picks and whatnot, or not lottery picks, but the picks from the AFL.
Yeah.
And now those guys are getting old, and players don't want to play in, Sydney, and we're doing well in the league, and players, I don't know, they're not coming to the Sydney to play for the Giants, so it could mean bad things going forward. So
I also think there's not a great culture at the club,
No.
fan culture wise. Obviously, being an expansion team, I think it hurts not playing for a team with history and playing for a team with passion.
It does, but they kind of just tried to cut Sydney in half.
Yeah.
It didn't work because the Swans already had that established fan base.
Exactly.
So people
South
are going,
Melbourne.
Yeah, so people are going, why would I want to go support them when the Swans, at least at the time of expansion, are better,
Yep.
have just signed Buddy, and are on the way up.
Yeah, and I don't have to go to Olympic Park to watch them every week.
It's such a hike, mate.
It is such a hike.
It's in the middle of nowhere.
It's like Penrith, isn't it?
Yeah.
no,
is it out there?
No, it's like...
I remember
It's hard to
going
explain.
there to watch GWS versus the Dogs in 2016, and it was such a hike.
Yeah.
The train is just a pain. Everything about it, thanks for the rhyme, everything about it was just terrible.
You're a poet and you didn't even know it.
Oh, stop it, mate.
that
Stop the
wasn't
flattery.
bad either.
Thanks.
Exactly.
Thanks, Gussy. God, I'm blushing.
Exactly.
Anyway, moving on to the 5 slot. Gussman.
West Coast.
West Coast
Ooh,
Eagles.
no, mate.
The Weagles,
Again, I think
yeah.
you've done a bit of cheating here, pal.
What do you mean?
I've got West Coast here too, and I wrote them before you. We all know this.
No, I didn't even look at your predictions.
A bit of copy and paste.
No, I did actually have Geelong in 5th, and then I decided to swap it around because
Spoiler alert.
I twisted your arm.
Yeah, no, a little bit. No, I think they'll be all right. But look, then they're definitely not. They'll be there or thereabouts. They're not going to be a standout side this year, I don't think.
I mean, they have every chance. The thing is, with this I'd probably say top 6 of what I view as the top 6. I think any of them could come any position.
Yeah.
Any team could be the dominant team then, and any team. I think they're all 6 really strong sides. I think it's probably one of the most dominant competitions we've seen in terms of like the most competitive top 6. So I think that's really important. I had West Coast obviously as well. The team with the new team song with Birds of Tokyo featuring in it. I mean, that's what everyone's team club song needs to be, right? I think that's what the Dogs are lacking. Lacking a bit of an Australian band singing the Sons of the West.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want Birds of Tokyo in
No
there, yeah.
bloody way. That is the last thing I want. I think
How
Birds of
they live
Tokyo
in
are
Tokyo.
extremely overrated.
If you see it, then you mean... No, okay.
No, that reminds me of a few weeks ago, mate. A few months ago.
Yeah. Anyway.
Exactly. Who have you got, mate?
I had the Cats. Geelong. I reckon,
Geelong.
again, something about them. I don't know. They could very well get the minor premiership, or they could fall. And I'm going the latter here. I'm going to say they're going to fall to 5. It's a big loss for them, or a big difficulty, challenge to overcome. The fact that most of their home games aren't at home.
Yeah, it is
No,
tough for them.
Like last year, their home finals were played at the G because the AFL said so. They aren't based. Their home stadium isn't the G.
That's GMHBA.
Exactly. The Old Faithful down there in Geelong, which is about an hour in the car, less than. And that's
Beautiful
where it should
spot.
be played. I was down in Geelong a few years ago with Dad. We were like, okay, we want to go see a game. And they were playing at home that night, so we're like, sweet, we'll go. And it's like, well, no, we're actually playing the Dogs at the MCG. No, it's a home game. And it's just very confusing. But
Yeah.
that travel, it's not like mega. I don't know. Something about fan bases, and are they always going to travel? Probably not. They'll travel for the big games, but...
Yeah, well, I'll say my nana lives probably an hour further south of Geelong, so 2 hours out of Melbourne, and they do travel every now and again.
Yep.
So when they need to go watch a Dogs game, her partner, he supports the Cats. I mean, I think she's kind of whipped him a little bit, so now he supports the Dogs, but which is
change your
you
team.
can't.
No,
What's the Eric Cantona
that's
quote?
almost criminal.
Yeah, it is pretty bloody
Is it Eric
criminal.
Cantona or Roy Keane? He was talking about how, like, you can change your house, you can change your wife, but you can never ever change your football team.
Exactly. Percy, what are you
Same
doing,
thing.
mate? Can't do it. Anyway, they do travel, especially from those peninsula teams or peninsula areas. But it's a lot harder for them, and they need to be playing more games at GMHBA. But yeah, we're moving into 4th. Gussman, who have you got?
Geelong. Yeah, so I swapped them around.
So you swapped them
Coast. Yeah, West Coast and Geelong. I swapped them around.
Stop saying it like that.
I like saying it like Geelong now. It's great.
Yeah, I said it like 3 times by accident, so
Yeah.
let's not make that a thing.
Yeah, it's not.
No, anyway, I like the look of them. I don't think they'll finish up in first like they did last year.
Tommy Hawkins.
I also think
Huge again.
they're on the slide. I think Patrick Dangerfield will have to really turn up if they're going to have a good year.
The reason why I probably put them, I think they've lost Tim Kelly, so that's a big loss as well. So I think that'll hurt them.
Yeah, I think they're in real trouble of even possibly missing the top 4.
No.
I mean, look, it's
Sorry, who are you talking about? The Geelong.
I mean, I've only just put them in my top 4. I swapped it last minute.
I mean, there's every chance of it happening. I've actually got them at 3rd, but Finn, who do you have at 4th?
Well, I was going to say just quickly, this top 6, I think it's pretty unanimous for all of us.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same teams,
different order.
And I think that's going to be telling this season. You know, we might see teams, we will see teams jump around until the last round. So anyway, in the 4th slot, Giants.
You got the Giants.
Yeah, en route to their first premiership, of course.
You reckon?
No.
Oh.
No, I don't, sadly. But I don't know. Again, it depends how they respond to, pattern going on and that type of thing. But again, for now, young team, it's their time.
Yeah, you long-suffering fans.
Yeah,
it's their time.
Again, it's been...
since the club's inception. You've never won a flag.
It's been a painful 4 years, or whatever it's been.
Exactly.
No. Again, I think they're building nicely. They're built nicely. This is when they strike. This is their
100%.
premiership window. 4th will get them close to that, but spoiler alert, I don't think it's going to get them all the way.
No, exactly. And I have the toothless supporters, good old Collingwood forever. I've got them coming in 4th. Again, any of these teams could come anywhere in this top 6. I think it's really mix and match.
That's the
just
beauty
whoever
of the
shows
AFL,
up.
mate. Beauty
Exactly.
of the sport.
Anyone can beat anyone on any given day. It's great. But no, I do have them coming in at 4th. I don't think they have that many squad changes. They've got quite a good, nice young team. I think there was a little bit of superstition of whether Mason Cox was leaving or Darcy Moore was leaving in the off-season.
I think there was brief chat about Cox.
Cox,
it was nothing major.
It was nothing major.
Securing Grundy too, that's
huge.
That's massive.
Huge.
7-year deal, I want to say.
Yeah.
Which is pretty unheard of for a ruckman.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's more than a ruckman, I reckon. I think he's the best ruckman I've ever seen play.
Yeah, very good.
That's a long contract. That's unheard of by most sports.
Buddy Franklin was given a 10-year contract.
So was Tamalolo.
Tamalolo, 10-year, yeah. I mean, 7 years, that's
huge.
It's a long time.
That's
your whole
It's a long time to
career.
commit to one club as an athlete.
I'll take it, though.
You would.
If any AFL club's looking for a dynamic small forward who's not very quick and not very skillful, contact me.
Although, to be fair, in 7 years' time, people are probably making double the amount, I reckon.
Inflation, mate.
Yeah, inflation, that's how it works. I mean, Tamalolo, $1 million a year, he'd probably be gaining like $1.5 million
Still.
in 5 years.
I think Grundy, he's earned this contract.
Oh, he has.
Anyway, I've got the Pies at 3, actually, so it's a similar story, I think, but I think they're a shout for possibly the flag as well. But
they
again,
definitely
we'll
are.
chat about that in a second. But Gusman?
I got GWS, your boys, in 3rd. It's their time. If they're going to win a premiership, if they're going to win a flag, it's going to be now.
Your time is now.
Yeah,
that's right,
so
Gusman.
they need to show up, and I reckon they could get into the final, but I reckon they're going to lose the final again. I reckon they're going to go back to back to back losses for GWS in the final.
And then who's your 1 and 2, mate?
Oh, that's fine.
You can do your 3, and then
That's fine. I had Geelong. It's fine. Let's move on.
Okay.
Next.
I got Richmond and Collingwood. I mean, they're probably 2 standout sides to look out for, I reckon.
That's the dream AFL grand final.
Oh, yeah.
The 2 teams on either side of the G.
Yeah.
The most passionate fan bases, arguably. It would be absolutely bucket
It'd be
list.
cool. Hey?
It would be.
Punt Road boys.
Oh, mate, the marches would be an event in themselves.
It'd be
if
awesome.
You can't get into the stadium.
Those are awesome too.
Yeah, exactly.
They are great.
Because they walk for ages.
Mm.
They do. They don't just walk 50 metres and go, hey, we're at the ground, see you at the end of the match. They walk for miles.
It's so much fun.
Exactly.
And the parades at the days leading up to it, everything about it. It's a whole week. It's a whole spectacle. It's awesome. I've got the doggies in at 2nd, and then I've got I got the boys from Punt Road.
I mean,
Optimus. I'm not biased.
You got to expect that.
Hey,
I'm not biased.
Who was the number 1 ranked midfield?
The Dogs.
The Dogs.
Yeah,
who was the number 1?
That was rhetorical.
Who was the number 1 ranked team?
And I'm going to finish
by
second,
champion data?
They're not going to finish.
The Doggies.
The Doggies.
Not gonna
Who did the
finish.
captains select as the number one
Okay,
team
this
going
is the
into this
Doggies.
season?
I'm changing my
The
tip.
Doggies.
Okay, Doggies are winning it, mate.
Exactly.
Why don't you just
Come on, boys!
Why don't you just move them up into first?
No,
While you're
no,
at
no,
it.
no. I'm gonna go first.
If you love the Doggies so
Can't deal
much,
with the
mate,
pressure.
why don't you marry them?
If I could, I would.
Fist pump.
Oh, that
Thanks,
was
Gussy.
bloody
Oh.
depressing. I'm surprised Gussy didn't cabbage
Oh,
you, mate.
mate. Anyway, I've got West Coast at 2 and the Tigers at 1.
I've got the Tigers at 1-2.
But
Front row, boys.
my prediction is a Richmond Pies final.
That is nice.
I'm
That would be
still-
quite tasty.
I'm still going to follow that, and for me, it's the Pies going the distance.
I'm going to be biased and say it's the Dogs going the
Okay.
distance. It's not going to happen.
No, we're not getting.
I know
we're not
it's-
getting professional
it-
content.
it's not going to happen, but I'm going to say it is. I think Tigers will go back to back.
I think Collingwood as well. The Pies. I reckon they're a shout this year. I
Just-
reckon it'll be Collingwood and Richmond. Collingwood and GWS in the final.
Just try to be original.
Ooh, interesting.
GWS losing another final back to back, of course.
Back
and
to
Collingwood.
back.
Look, it'd be a nightmare, but I think Collingwood will win it this year.
Okay, let's go to the other end of the
If the
spectrum.
Giants can go back to back, there'll be DVDs made.
Oh,
banners.
yes.
There will be a.
We've spoken about the spare shirts in Africa. We've spoken about this with the Super
There
Bowl.
will be a parade
There's
in
now
Sydney.
2. yeah. Back to
They're all dressed up as bridesmaids.
yeah, exactly. Woo!
I reckon-
Chuck it over the back of
actually,
the head.
A segue to the wooden spoon, mate. I reckon
Yeah.
there should be a parade for the wooden spoon.
I think so too. That would be
we
depressing.
need to see more of that, like an incentive for players to not finish last.
I think that's the number one pick in the draft. I
Yeah.
mean, the AFL goes, give it to you, G.
They should
Gold
we'll
Coast.
just get presented with a wooden spoon. Like,
That would be
make
great.
it like a trophy.
I think we're all unanimous here.
Yeah.
The Suns.
Oh.
I
the
said the
spoon?
Suns or Swans.
You can't have two. You can't have two wooden spoons, CJ.
I wanna.
Equal
I
last
said then.
points
Equal
difference.
last, yeah.
Equal on
Comes
corners.
down to percentage.
Yeah, I think the Suns are a shout.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty obvious choice. I do think they'll improve, though. I do think they'll improve.
I hope so, because again, if
I
they
hope so for
don't,
their sake.
if they don't improve, they've got their final chance in 2021 in the draft. But they don't improve from then, mate. It's all
It's looking a bit
doom and gloom. It's
Exactly.
the end of days.
I'd say they have probably 5 years left.
Yeah, if that, the Tasmanian Suns.
Oh, I would love to see a Tassie team.
I think it needs
It's
to
so
happen.
sick.
The Kangaroos playing there for half.
Maybe an
you know,
NT team.
Yeah, I think Tassie's first.
Yeah, definitely.
Then you could almost look at maybe Canberra. Could be a smoky.
Ballarat?
Ballarat. eh.
No, because a lot of teams. We sold out Ballarat
I
last
think
year multiple times.
Country AFL would actually work.
It would
really
work.
Well.
Ballarat's huge for AFL.
Hasn't worked at all in the A-League,
Mm-mm.
but it could work in AFL. Anyway, Brownlow boys, I'm going for Dusty or Patrick Cripps.
Dusty.
See, I'm a dangerous man. I like to take risks.
Mm.
That's why I've gone for Dusty or Cripps.
Mm.
But basically, that was a joke you guys didn't react to. Anyway,
That was bad.
no,
I thought you were going to go, I'm
Take
a
a-
dangerous man, so I'm going with Paddy Dangerfield. But no.
I take a lot of risks.
That would have been better.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Wordsmith.
Well, I try. Anyway, you do better. Campbell?
Okay, well, I'm going to say it's come straight from the Bonds. It's Marcus Bontempelli. I'm saying I'm not biased at all.
To be fair, that was good.
Thank you. There's a reason that's why they pay me the big bucks, mate. No, Marcus Bontempelli, he was ranked the number one player going into the season by the captains. He won AFL Coaches Player of the Year. He had 40 possessions in preseason. He's an absolute star.
Is he one of those players though that maybe doesn't get recognised for
No,
what
he
does?
gets recognised.
No, in terms
The
of
problem is
he does a lot of off-ball stuff and you know,
No,
effort.
he gets votes every week. But the problem is with the Dogs is they have a lot of good players in that midfield. And I don't know if do you guys know how the Brownlow voting system works?
Yep.
The umpires vote for it
Yep.
every week. They vote for a certain amount of players from each game in the games they are umpiring. Marcus Bontempelli gets a lot of votes stolen off him by Lockie Hunter, by Jackson McRae, these kind of players. So it's hard for him because he's got a lot of competition. It's a good side. So that's the hard part for him, and he does unfortunately lose votes. But I think it's been coming for a while now. He was close last year. I think this year's his year. And
You're
he has a good set of hair.
Your mouth is just full of water.
I know,
or
I'm
something, mate.
salivating.
And it's
I'm
really,
just thinking about Marcus Bontempelli
it's really
winning
good
it.
ASMR because you're getting
Cheers.
real close to the mic.
Cheers, mate. I'm trying to. The last Brownlow winner we had was Adam Cooney, who then went on to play for the Dons, so we don't talk about him. But great player in his day. But who do you have, mate?
Well, how about this for a headline? Kneel for the king of the AFL, Lockie Neal.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I reckon
I think that was even worse than my attempt.
That was
mine was
very
good.
dreadful.
Mine was good. Kneel for the king of the AFL. That's good. No, I think
Can tell you're a first year.
I think Lockie Neal for the Brownlow medal in 2020. If the Brisbane Lions are going to make the 8, it's going to be off the back of this guy.
Yeah, he's an absolute superstar.
He had an outstanding 2019 season, and I reckon he'll continue that form.
I think you will too.
Yeah.
All right, too.
I guess let's see.
Let us see. Yeah, I think that's a great shout. But let's go on to the biggest story of the week, boys. Biggest story of the week.
We haven't touched on it.
We
until
haven't.
The last,
We
5-10
mentioned
minutes of
it.
the show.
We mentioned it at the start of the podcast. But the Women's World Cup,
Yep.
like a firework.
Champions.
They were hot and they were cold. They were yes and they were no.
Green Army.
Green Army. Good stuff from the Aussies. They absolutely caned India.
They did, man. It was
game.
They smashed him.
Elisa Healy was absolutely awesome with the bat, and I think she basically won the match
Yeah.
on the back of her batting performance.
Megan Shoup was great with the ball too, to be fair.
It was a team display,
Mm.
and it's something we haven't seen from Australia necessarily throughout this tournament so far.
Mm.
And it's hard to believe that they were 9 minutes in that semi-final from that game being canned.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, how close, history could have been decided in that 10 minutes.
Oh, I'm glad it didn't, though.
Exactly.
It was a great game. It was. I watched a lot of the second innings, obviously, when we were bowling. Really awesome, though.
It would have been quite anticlimactic if the semis were decided both by rain.
Yeah.
And I think less people would have gone to the game. I think we got 86,000 last week.
Yeah, we did.
I want to say
great turnout.
86,174, I think
Yeah,
it was.
I think it was around that, yeah.
There you go. Good memory.
Mm.
And
Good stuff
but
from
we
you.
wouldn't have got, I think, half of that if it was India, South Africa.
No way. I don't think we'd get that many if it wasn't.
No, actually, the India contingent is pretty
Could be.
passionate, so
Yeah.
that would have been a big part of it as well. But I think, Gussy, your favourite artist as well, unconfirmed, Katy
that?
Perry.
Katy Perry.
Performer?
Yeah, you're a big
Oh,
fan. I always hear you
I don't
playing
mind
her, and you Gussy has this weird kind of thing where sometimes when we're driving, he'll chuck on the headphones.
when you're driving.
When
'cause-
I'm driving, because I'm the only one who bloody drives around here.
Well, it's not like we
well,
don't have like,
I,
one hand on the steering wheel each.
No.
Actually, no, I got the handbrake.
Yeah,
Wait,
okay.
what was this? What I put?
You put your headphones on sometimes.
In. Oh, zone out.
Extremely rude.
And blast Katy Perry. What is
Yes,
what
that's
is your,
what I can hear it, mate.
what is
No,
I can
look-
hear.
Yeah. Look. I don't mind Katy Perry. Although I was
what's your
watching
favorite?
that.
What's your favorite song? That's what the people want to know.
It's got to be Raw. Am I right? Like,
Odd
you're
shout.
gonna
See, that's-
hear me
that's,
roar.
That's a true fan shout.
yeah,
there,
that's
there.
No,
It's an anthem.
no, I love that performance by Katy Perry, but I was a little bit scared by the mascots that were behind her. Were they like cricket bats? I
Yeah,
think
I have no idea.
the
I was
weird
watching-
cricket bat
Yeah.
mascots,
I was
and I was like, what the hell is that?
I was
Did
watching
it
the.
feel like a, I don't know, lucid dream or something?
It was just a bit weird. It's like
No, they were sexy.
something you'd see in a trip or something.
Did you say? Were you about to say sexy cricket bats?
Yeah, that's what Elisa Healy was calling them on the back page.
Oh my God.
They were
watched that
very strange.
I watched that on Tuesday night. And
If there's
Healy-
anything I've been aroused by, it's definitely a
Cricket
bit
bats.
of English willow.
Well, no, because basically they were people dressed up in cricket bat costumes, and they had like eyelashes and like big lips type
Yeah,
thing.
it was
so
freaky.
They were supposed to be not. I don't want to say seductive, but they were supposed to be appealing,
Yeah.
somewhat.
He just turned on my cricket bat. Like, what's going on there?
Speak for yourself, mate.
Right, yeah.
No, but Healy,
Michael Clark's unsponsored bat. Oh yeah, that gets me.
Healy,
Jesus, mate.
Jesus, Healy again. She was talking about the sexy cricket bats, and I couldn't tell you which player it was, but one player stole one of the costumes
Oh,
and
great.
came into the changing rooms at 2 a.m. wearing it.
Oh
At
god.
2 a.m. Were they there till that
I
late?
was celebrating, of course, but
Understandable. Champers out.
exactly no. But again, a complete display
Yeah.
by the Australian cricketers.
I mean, speaking about Alyssa Healy, she was outstanding.
Already
she
covered
showed,
that.
she-
Yeah, we did cover that.
I mean, she showed up for once.
Yep.
She had a
for
pretty.
once.
Yeah, I mean, she had a
She's
pretty.
a-
She had a
she is
pretty.
elite, mate.
No, she had a pretty average tournament. To be fair, but it shows she can turn up in the big games.
Well, that's what it's
when
all
it
about,
matters.
mate. That's what it's
Exactly,
all
that's when
about.
it matters. Beth Mooney was Australia's best player all tournament.
She won player of this. She won player of the
player of the
tournament.
player of the tournament, player of the series,
But
whatever.
the only, I guess, negative about that final was the fact that we only got to see one Perry perform, and of course, no injury ravished that. But I mean, going forward, oh no, they're about to tour South Africa. I don't know what I'm saying now, but they're
Yeah,
about to tour
exactly.
South Africa, so hopefully we get to see, Elise Perry back in
Exactly.
action.
And I'm sure she wished she was out there too.
Exactly.
It's a really unfortunate situation, but
But
she'll get another chance. She's
was
had
qu-
chances before. She'll get another chance.
Oh well, she's in the team.
Yeah,
Her
no,
spot
exactly.
isn't in,
I know. I know.
in the
She's-
balance. But
yeah.
it's again, she was seemingly, I guess, upset, but also very happy.
Yeah.
I guess to see her teammates go on and win that tournament. But she's a world champion. She's been there and done it multiple times now. So, can they go for 6 in 2 years' time? Let's watch and see.
So. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much to Linc McCarthy for coming onto the show. Absolute legend. If you haven't followed us already, go give us a follow at _beyond_the_sidelines_. And you can listen to all of our episodes on anywhere you get your podcasts, whether that be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Pocket Casts. There's a bunch that I can't even name, but we also have it on YouTube and our Facebook, so make sure you go listen to it. You know, you can listen to it multiple times. We'd even love that. Multiple times, multiple places.
Why not?
No, but I mean, again, tell 2 friends. That's
Exactly.
the deal.
So this is the deal.
If you're still listening, I've said it before.
This is a binding
legally
contract.
binding.
This is binding contract.
You have to do it.
Again, be silent. Don't say anything if you agree to these terms. Great. Okay.
Good. Now that we've
clarified that.
Good. Awesome. Blink if you agree. I heard a
Jeez,
blink. I heard a blink. I heard a blink somewhere on the planet.
Anyway, CJ, what ramen are you gonna get? What you go to?
I'm either gonna go spicy Korean one or a shoyu one.
Interesting. Show me what.
Let's go get some ramen.